Hey there, so it's day 71 and it's just coming up to 5 to 4 on Monday afternoon. It's regeneration week this week, so there's not a great deal going on workout wise. Everything's pretty much geared towards rest, relaxation and letting the body adapt after I completed the latest block of training. So I'm just trying to keep myself busy this afternoon and I'm getting my kit ready for what workouts I do have this week. And I thought it might be a good idea to share with you what I'm currently wearing out on my endurance runs, as it's that time of year as autumn starts to shift into winter and the temperatures are fluctuating up and down, and it's really difficult to get your clothing combinations right. You're either got too little on or too much, you're overheating or you're freezing cold. And I think I've pretty much got it nailed over the last few weeks, so I thought I'd share with you what I'm wearing, and that might help you make some decisions for yourself over the next few weeks or so. So I'm going to take you through each item of clothing from bottom to top, starting with my go-to piece of kit over the last few weeks, which is the 2XU compression type. Now, it's not specifically designed for winter running as it doesn't have a fleece lining, but I've wore these types in a range of conditions over the last few weeks, and at no point have I felt the cold biting through the material onto my skin, and that's from temperatures ranging from 15 degrees almost down to 0. And I think that's pretty much down to the overall quality of the product. I don't think I've ever worn a compression type that provides so much support, so much stability and compression. It really is fantastic, but don't get me wrong, that quality definitely comes at a price. I don't think you can get a pair of 2XU types in the UK for less than £100 recommended retail price. I managed to grab these for £55 on an end of line deal. But if you'd have asked me 4 weeks prior to buying these whether I would pay £100 for some running tights, the answer would have definitely been no. But in hindsight, after wearing them for a month or two, I think they're definitely worth the investment. I mean, I didn't buy them for their compression qualities. I bought them for their reflective qualities. It's well documented that I like to run in the evening and I'm not as reflective as I could be. So these were a perfect addition to my wardrobe. And I'd recommend anybody grabbing a pair if they can get them on a deal for sure. I also think that compression definitely goes a long way to preventing injury in the winter months too. So anyway, moving on up, and I teamed those compression tights with a long sleeve base layer. I got this base layer from Planet X around 3 years ago, and it's really good quality for the price tag for sure. It works well in temperatures from like 15 degrees right down to 0. If it gets any warmer than that, you might need to opt for the short sleeve version. But yeah, I definitely recommend these budget base layers if you can't extend to the price tags of an Adidas or a Nike base layer, for instance. I normally don't bother with a mid layer unless it drops below around 8 degrees. So I'll go from the base layer straight to my favourite piece of clothing, which is the Nike Windrunner. And this is probably not the best piece of clothing to wear out on the road if you like running in the evening, because there are no reflective strips whatsoever across the whole garment, so it doesn't make you visible in the slightest. But it's just one of those pieces of clothing that I just love. They came out in the mid 70s or late 70s, I think, and I was wearing one when I was like 14 years old, around 1984 or 5, when I was spinning on my back to breakdance. And I've never lost my love for them. They're one of the few windbreakers these days that actually have a double lining, so that really makes the comfort level against the base layer feel really good, and it also adds that extra layer of protection from the wind. I mean, I did say last week that I bought a new windbreaker with a lot of reflective logos across it. It was from New Balance and it looks really good and it's going to do the job, but it doesn't have that line and it just doesn't have that sort of like kudos that the Nike Windrunner has. I'm not sure how much they've really developed this over the last few years or whether it was like this in 1984. I can't quite remember, but I just remember that it looked good then and it still looks good now. So when it does get below 8 degrees, then I throw on a mid layer, and that's pretty much a standard type of mid layer with good wicking quality. And I've got a range of different tops from different brands, and they all really do the same thing really. You just sort of holding heat between each layer to make the run more comfortable as the temperature drops. And I generally only go to that when it's dropped below 8 degrees. And then when it does get to that temperature, obviously that's when the hat and the gloves come in. The gloves are wick away gloves too, which are also used for cycling, and the hat has a wick away inner, so you're not getting cold sweat. But I tend to wear the hat around 10 degrees, and that's pretty much more to hold my earphones in while I'm running. But the gloves normally come in around just under 8 degrees. And then when it gets any colder than that, like it's going to be this week, then the fleece cowl comes out too. And I've only had to wear this once this year. But all in all, when you combine all of these pieces of clothing, that pretty much covers you from 0 degrees right through to 15 degrees. And that's when the spring's hitting you. And then you're all of a sudden thinking about taking these layers off and maybe going towards a long sleeve jersey of some kind. So anyway, that's about me for today. So I'll catch you on day 73. We're back in the pain cave tomorrow. It's a double workout day, but it's a double workout day on regeneration week, so it's going to be nice and easy. So feel free to drop your messages below and hit that subscribe button. And as always, this is the Triathlon Diaries, and I'm checking out.